Hello everyone, welcome to Xecurity Pulse. Today we'll be discussing how we can modernize America's supply chain. And how to discuss all of this, we have with us Mr. Abdul Aziz. So you mentioned about you have been working in this space for like 13 over years. So tell us something about that experience.
They had a huge problem when it comes to their legacy system. And the leadership over there, they had a huge problem when it came to visibility. A lot of the problems that you see there, you will see over here.
What do you think why this ERP modernization is so critical for the wholesale distribution?
If you're not making progress, you're falling behind. Trust me.
Did you get any email from anybody in Africa saying that they owe you $1 million?
I did. I sent them my bank information and now I'm a millionaire.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Xecurity Pulse, your go-to podcast channel. Here we cover different industry topics from cybersecurity to AI to blockchain to ERP and much more. The idea is simple: to educate you all and to create awareness of where the tech is going and how the cybersecurity industry is shaping up. What if I told you that the next national security crisis might not come from a cyber attack or a foreign conflict, but from a spreadsheet error in a warehouse? In today's interconnected world, our ability to deliver food, medicine, supply chain depends on one important component, which is ERP. Yes. Today, we'll be discussing how we can modernize America's supply chain, how to bring ERP innovation and economic resilience, where we explore how modernizing the digital backbone of logistics can prevent shortages, boost manufacturing, as well as build a stronger and more secure America. And to discuss all of this, we have with us Mr. Abdul Aziz. Welcome, Abdul, to the show.
Thank you, Taha. Thank you for having me.
Abdul, before we start, I would like you to just give us a brief introduction about your background, where you are coming from, and what is your background in the ERP, and how did you end up getting a career in this industry?
Okay, sure. My name is Abdul Aziz Dandashi. I'm an Oracle Senior Technical Consultant. I have been working in the ERP world, specifically in Oracle products, for over 13 years. I help government sector agencies and private organizations run their processes by implementing and enhancing systems that run things, essential and critical functions for these organizations, things like purchasing, warehouse management, inventory, manufacturing, sales, payroll, accounting, financing, all sorts of things. So just to give you a brief what an ERP is, when systems started to be used in business, a lot of companies had to purchase, let's say, an accounting system and a payroll system and a warehouse management system and a purchasing system. So someone came up with the idea of, you know what, why don't we integrate all these systems together and build one big system, one big umbrella, so all these modules talk to each other and impact each other, because in reality, they all impact each other. So in ERP, you have things like purchase to pay, like different processes. For example, order to cash, purchase to pay. So they're integrated in a way that if there were separate systems, it would not work as smoothly. So ERPs help organizations run their processes. So in general, I don't do all the cool stuff. I don't design video games. I don't do TikTok filters, but I work on systems that make sure that trucks that are delivering essentials are hitting the road. Supermarket shelves are actually stocked, and the people working on all the supply chain processes are being paid properly and on time.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. So Abdul, that's, by the way, the best definition I have listened anybody explaining ERP. So like congratulations on that, because I didn't get what this ERP is like, to be like honest with you. And there's a lot of thing that uh, we interact with in our daily life, and we don't care how much important they are. And thanks to you guys who are managing all those integrated complex systems, so that we can get the food, we can get the medicine, and we can enjoy the meals as well. So yeah, so moving on, Abdul Aziz, just to start off, so you mentioned about you have been working in this space for like 13 over years, and I know that you have started your career in Middle East, and you were working with one of the ministries of water and communication, and electricity. So tell us something about that experience, and like what are the problems, like the common problems you solved? What are some of the solutions which you've applied based on your skills and your experience, and how does those problems you see in the US right now? So tell us something about that experience, and how you think those solutions which you have worked on are relevant to this day and age, especially in the US.
Yeah, sure. So an example I can think of is whatever you mentioned. It's the Ministry of Water and Electricity in one of the GCC countries. They had a huge problem when it comes to their legacy system. Believe it or not, it was part electronic, part Excel, part paper. Tons of paper. You don't want to see that. So we went in there and we did a lot of analysis as a team. It was not an individual effort, of course. It's a team. I was part of that team. I was leading multiple functionalities of that team. So we went in there and we were able to implement the Oracle time and labor modules with just a few extensions, a few custom features that we developed specifically for them. And we were able to significantly and positively impact their everything related to because if you think about it, your simple punch in and punch out impacts so many things. It impacts your payroll, your hours, your performance reviews, and so many things. So just by fixing a part of their broken system, we were able to significantly have a positive impact on them. Another example, it was another ministry as well, the Ministry of Communications. The leadership over there, they had a huge problem when it came to visibility. They had no visibility at all. So we went in there, and based on our analysis, we understood their requirements, their pain, and we developed over 50 reports and dashboards for this particular client. And because of that, they were able to make the decision-making process much better and much more informed.
Very good. Very good.
And honestly, most of this pain is shared across the world when it comes to government organizations. So
yeah.
A lot of the problems that you see there, you will see over here. Of course.
I see. Is there any change that you have seen here of how people are using the legacy systems, or you have seen this gone much worse?
When you're working on a legacy system, you have to act in a certain way. You honestly have to dumb yourself down to work on the system. But with these modern ERP systems, the user is now much more educated, much more skilled in order to be able to work on these applications. So now it's a win-win. The organization wins and the user wins as well.
I see. And one of the things what I have noticed is, even though how much talk or how much we bring AI into every discussions, but still, if you go to the government sector and just notice how they are working, they're still working on the traditional systems. So and most developments or the changes what we see is coming from the private companies. So I really feel like should be some sort of a collaboration or integration that should be there in order for those private companies to interact with the government agencies and to also transform those systems as well. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I agree because change is usually led by private companies that
Yeah,
are
yeah,
seeking profit. So you'll never find I mean, you can, but you rarely find government sector organizations leading the change. It's usually the other way around. And I believe in the US, it is already happening. We're seeing a lot of government sector bodies adopting these new systems and modernized ERP and other systems as well. So I feel optimistic when it comes
yeah,
to this
nice.
area. Yeah.
So, moving on to the supply chain, you talked about briefly, how modernizing or how transformation from legacy to, modernizing, is really important when it comes to organizational side. Uh, so, if you can bring some of the industries into this, let's say food, medicine, electronics, right? Uh, what do you think? Why this ERP modernization is so critical for the wholesale distribution? Because I know you have been working in the wholesale. You have been,
True. Yeah.
working. What do you think? Why? Just to give the sense of the criticality of this whole thing, can you give us some sort of impact view to how much critical it is to modernize the ERP,
Sure.
especially for the wholesale distribution?
Yeah. We need to understand one thing. If you're not making progress, if you're not following the latest technologies and inventions in the IT world, not just in the IT world, but specifically in the IT world, you're falling behind. Trust me. If you're not doing the right thing, if you're not using the latest technology, your competitors are, and you are losing. So industries like food, like medicine, time plays a huge role in things like this, because it's an extra layer. You have you have sensitive things that you're selling, things like food and medicine. They're very the time is very sensitive when it comes to these things. So you have to have a system that is able to optimize all your processes. You cannot waste any time, you cannot waste any resources, because honestly, it's if you're losing in these areas, you're losing customers basically.
Yeah.
So it's non-negotiable.
I totally agree with you. And we have seen problems, especially within the US agencies. They're facing critical shortages, especially in the semiconductor components, due to fragmented procurement and visibility. So I think if we can modernize the supply chain, and align it with some Defense Production Act mandates that real results. And I've seen like one of the companies, doing it, and they have like introduced something like an AI driven demand planning, which has actually reduced the lead time by 35 to 50%. So imagine what the modernization can bring to this whole ERP ecosystem.
Yeah, true. I've seen. I mean, I don't want to give too many details. I cannot give too many details, but I've seen examples where you literally have shortage in one warehouse, and you have like you're overstacked in another warehouse. So simple things like this can literally make a difference in such a competitive
Nice.
industry.
And what do you think? We can always overcome technology. We know how to upgrade the systems, how to increase the storage layers, APIs, all those sort of tech things. But when it comes to changing the processes inside that whole ERP like organizations, where do you think is the gap? Because if I am as a business owner, I see there's a problem, right? I'm not getting my employees paid, or I'm not getting one of the supply chain items, I can lose money on that, right? So if I want to implement the changes, and if my tech team is ready with their products, why do you still see the industry is facing like shortages, or less efficiency in the processes?
Uh, let's be honest, not all technical teams and functional teams, not all of them are created equal. So when you are trying to resolve such an issue in your organization,
Mhm.
it's critical that you know who you're dealing with. You need people with a proven history. They have a good track of implemented projects. They have to have good history, and you have to have good people in general, whether it's your implementation partners or your actual customers. You have to have educated people in order to understand the gap and not waste any time and money solving things that do not exist.
Nice, nice. Abdul, I have also seen some of your research work that you've been publishing. So hats off on that. You've been, really educating the community and the industry, in this. And I want to touch briefly on the technological part here. So, like AI is coming in. Like there are now agentic AI is being mostly talked about these days. And we have seen also blockchain being evolved, over the years, and then there is always automation coming in. So, what do you think in terms of the new innovative solutions? If you have to pinpoint a few solutions which is really transforming the ERP industry, what do you have to say on that?
What we're seeing is a lot of the modern ERP systems are using things like AI, like agentic AI and Gen AI, things that will help employees either communicate with systems much more effectively and efficiently, and I mean things like warehouse optimization for storage and stacking stuff. So things that are essential in everyday work for employees, they are employing AI in those tasks. And I think if you're not doing this, you are falling behind, as I said, because every day there's something new, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
And I want to add on one of the technologies that I really like, which is blockchain. And what I've seen is there are companies who are using blockchain for tamper-proof transactions. Especially across the DoD and the FDA supply chain. So this is something which we should look for. And then there are always like agentic ERP assistants that are redefining the workflows, right? So we know like technology is here, and technology is changing. But you made an important point earlier that still, in order to implement the technological changes, you have to come up with some new processes, maybe those that were not present earlier, right?
true. Yeah. Uh, this has always been the case. There sometimes there's a gap between whatever is available and whatever is required. So that's where we come in and we try to understand where the gap is and how to solve these issues and come up with solutions for them. So it is not something new that you will have such gaps. This is where we come in and
Nice, nice.
and fill that gap. Yeah.
Nice. And I saw a few of your research papers where you talked about uh, like prompt systems, right? When you have defined the workflows. Uh, can you walk us through in terms of your approach when you, let's say, are given a problem that, hey, maybe my employees are not getting salary, or this payroll system is not working, or I have to create something for the machines. How do you approach those problems? And can you give us some examples of some of the solutions which you have worked with, which has really given a lot of good results to your company?
Yeah, sure. So there are two types of things that we're talking about. If you have an existing system
Mm.
that is having issues, that's a thing. But if you're acquiring something that's new, then
Mhm.
that's a different story. When we come in as implementation partners or
Mhm.
people who problem solvers basically. Depending on your system, depending on what type of problems you are having, we usually do a lot of analysis for your existing ERP. For example, when we went into one of the companies, they had a system, they had a working system, but it was full of flaws that we had to tear it down and build a completely new system within the Oracle ERP. So their system did not serve them anymore. There were so many gaps, so many issues with their legacy system that we had to just tear it down and build a much better version of that inside the Oracle environment. Now, if you're trying to build something new, that's where all the functional people come and gather all the requirements and study the case based on the industry best practices and based on your actual needs. And it's a team effort. They start by putting all the requirements, and they shadow people sometimes. They ask a lot of questions. They have a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings, just to understand what the requirement is. And that's where they have their deliverables that the technical teams take on, and it's an ongoing process. You develop stuff, you test it, you enhance it, and it's an ongoing cycle.
Nice, nice. Abdul, I want to touch now something which is local to us, which is Made in America initiative that has been the hot topic, since a while now. So let's say if you were given the task of that everything we need, everything we'll procure should be all from America, and if you have given all the power which you need, okay, in order to do this, so walk us through in terms of some of the initiatives, what you will do in terms of if we look at the ERP domains, there can be the payroll systems, there can be their banking softwares, there can be their supply chain softwares, and all those sort of things which are interrelated. So if you have to start from scratch, that hey, if I want everything to be made in America, this is how you should do it. What are some of the things which you can think of which can define the strategy and help the teams to implement that?
To talk from an ERP standpoint, I believe that having the right ERP, of course, I'm not getting into all the financial stuff. It's not my field. But having the right, the appropriate, the proper ERP in your organization will help you first identify if it is even possible to have all of your raw materials or all of your providers or vendors be in America. That's the first step. And the second step is if, let's say, you're a manufacturer, then I think one of the most critical things are two things. First, costing, and then pricing. If you do not have the proper ERP, you will never ever be able, especially in our modern world where you cannot use a pen and paper anymore. If you do not have the proper ERP, you will fail in determining all these costs. So if you, let's say, you're trying to avoid any importing, right? But you are not able to understand how much it would cost to deal with US only vendors. You will definitely fall short and you're probably losing money. But having the proper tools that will give you visibility will 100% be a great help in determining whether it's possible first and what's the best way to do it. So
nice. So one of the things I really liked about your approach to this modernized ERP is you also bring in some element of security. I saw your paper of that how you are saying that hey, I mean zero trust is important to the ERP cases.
True.
So when you talk about security hardening, supply chain is everything, right? If there's any ransomware, in any of your supply chain, like items or components, then you will be like a lot of trouble. So walk me through this. Walk me through this. Is there any initiative within the security landscape that you have seen companies adapting it when it comes to hardening their overall ERP ecosystem?
I think one of the major things that successful companies, and when I say successful, I mean in terms of cybersecurity in their ERP systems, is the zero trust, as I said, which can have multiple steps. Things like strong access control and user authentication, multi-factor authentication, things like encryption, regular software update and patching. Of course, user training is crucial. I mean, sometimes everything fails, and you have to have a solid backup and disaster plan. For example, a few years ago, of course, I'm not going to mention any names, but one of the major credit-related companies, they had a breach in their database. There was one vulnerability in their database, and someone ended up attacking them, and they lost, like, I think, if I remember correctly, over 140 million people information were leaked on their net. They were just available. They ended up paying over $500 million for settlements. So I think this, if the company is not following the standard processes to protect their data and networks, I think it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, true, and I totally agree with you. And there are proper CISA, ERP specific guidelines, guys. If you are working in any of the ERP functions, think of security as your number one priority, because you are dealing with national infrastructure, and there is specific guidelines which you can follow. So please, check those out.
One more thing I really believe in is that's my personal my personal preference and experience, is that you're always going to have human errors, right? So you cannot blame the user for things like any vulnerabilities. It's your responsibility as the implementation person to make sure that even if the user makes a mistake, it's still under control. It might be too theoretical. In implementation, in reality, it might be a little difficult. But that's the mindset I always try to have in my mind when I'm going into a project.
Nice. Abdul, did you get any email from anybody in Africa saying that they owe you $1 million and they wanted to get your bank account for that?
I did. I sent them my bank information, and now I'm a millionaire.
That's what I think. Why would a Nigerian prince, guys? Like, no offense to Nigerian people, but what is their issue? I mean, why would they be generous enough to give you any like single dollar? So, but people are still accepting those requests, guys. I mean, it's not because they are still like live. It means that they are still getting some responses, right? And even at this day and age, I still see when we do some malware analysis, some backtracking on the IP address, we still see window XPs are being used. In like more than 20% of the overall IT landscape. So imagine which world we are living in. So we should do our due diligence.
I mean, I don't know why scammers pick certain countries, but of course, it's not the country's fault. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the main things that I read about is that one of the ex scammers, let's say, he was saying that sometimes you might come across a scam that is so dumb that you would laugh, like, who would believe this? But this is essential for them. These people are the perfect target for them. So they don't go after someone like you who is very well aware of their scams. But if you fall for their scam, you're the perfect target. So they do these things on purpose.
And my mother, she has done now a PhD in Facebook, and she knows everything.
What's up?
Always, there is always some news coming in, some voice notes that, hey, you need to be aware of these things. So she's constantly reminding me that, hey, don't accept any calls from any unknown number. So
Sure.
Yeah, but still there are people you'll find who are answering those calls and talking to them for hours, right? So yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Nobody is safe. Like, you would think you and I should know better.
Yeah.
But trust me, at some point, at the end of the day, you're just tired. You open your WhatsApp or your email, and you just click something. You're half asleep.
Yeah.
So it happens. It honestly happens. I'm not saying people are supposed to know every single scam. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
To the best of us.
Abdul, it will be now something like fun, which I always like. Like in the end, we do a quick rapid fire. And you don't have to think of anything. You just have to say what the thing is coming out from that. Okay. So I have 4 good questions for you. So let's start with this.
Yeah.
One word to describe the current state of America's supply chain.
Solid.
Nice. Do you really think it's solid?
I do think it's solid. Yeah.
Nice.
It can, of course, there's always room for improvement, but if a single supply chain in the world can be the leader, of course it's the US.
Nice. Well said. What is the most underrated function of an ERP system?
Most underrated?
Underrated. Like it's one of the important ones, but people don't talk about that much of.
I think accounting, maybe, because it's very important, but people take it lightly for some reason.
Yeah, if you're not getting your salary, or if you are getting an extra 5,000, so.
I mean, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. All right, next one is good. Which industry suffers most from outdated ERP? Is it healthcare, defense, or food?
Suffers from outdated. I'd say food.
Yeah. I'll go with defense. You can still live with food, without food, but if there's any issue in the defense sector, then it will be really a problem. It's like even like the healthcare. So,
good point. All of them are essential, but you're making me go through tough choices. All of them are super critical.
Okay, so this is the last one. So cloud ERP or on-premise? What is your bet for the future?
Cloud ERP, for sure.
Cloud ERP. Yeah. Okay. Before we end, Abdul, I want to thank you for coming into the show. Your insights are being really informative. You have really helped, get this show to the next level. And our people are generally from the telecom and from the cybersecurity space, but covering this such an important topic has been really which we were looking for like some time now. And I wish you all the best. Any like closing thoughts you want to say that how we can make America great again?
I want to thank you, Taha, for your time and for your interest in this topic. America is great, and we can make it even greater if everybody is responsible. So, I see so many examples where people, I don't know, they don't think of their actions and how they impact their image and their people's image and their country's image in the eyes of others. So I think if everybody, not just as Americans, but as human beings, if everybody thought of what impact he's having on others and what his actions, if they're aware of their actions and how they impact the people and their environment around them, I think the world would be a better place.
I totally agree, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. And that is it. We have now come to the end of the show, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feedback, please do reach out to us. Abdul is very active on LinkedIn, and he will welcome any comments, feedback as well. Even if you want to learn about ERP, what areas you can think of in terms of your job opportunities, your career goals, he's just a message away. Please do reach out to him. And we'll be coming up with some new guests now, and take a very good care of yourself. Until next time, very goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.